Hi, I'm Karen,
And I'm Barry Martin.
and we'd like to give you a brief introduction to our divine mission on the planet, our work in the world, which is basically all about helping you as an awakening soul to get in touch with the luminous divine self that lives inside of you as who you really are. So we realize that a lot of awakening souls are looking around on the internet, they're watching a lot of YouTube videos. They're learning about awakening and all the various pathways and approaches to that. And that's a good thing because it's beginning to help you to get in touch with what resonates with you and your divine core and what really doesn't speak to your heart and soul so deeply. So, this is a part of awakening that a lot of people experience in the early stages. But there comes a moment, a point in the journey where we realize that we are not really going to find what we're looking for out there, whether on the internet or in a series of books we might read or in workshops or seminars. We're realizing that something inside of us is beginning to call us home. And so what is that that's calling us? What is it that's happening inside of us in a very subtle way?
What's calling us home is what we really are. At a certain point in the journey of being a soul in the human experience, that something that is our true nature, that's deep within us, begins to stir. It begins to awaken. And the goal of the spiritual process, and there are many paths, all these different paths and practices, all the ways up the mountain, so to speak, lead to the same place in the end. And that end point is that we awaken to and realize who we really are, what lies within us as our true nature. It's not out there. The only place we find it is by turning within and having a direct, conscious experience that we're more than what we see in the mirror, that there's something inside of us that is so profound and amazing and who we truly are that it changes everything about our experience forever. We know we're seeking something, and what we're seeking is our essential nature. We're looking for joy, we're looking for happiness, we're looking for peace, all these things that seem to elude us in our everyday outer waking world. But those are all aspects of who we are. And as we make that inner journey and we experience more deeply and deeply our true nature, these aspects of our true nature, these essential innate divine qualities and characteristics and capacities simply come forth. We find that peace is in us as us, and we find ourselves living in peace. We find that joy is just what's there when we're still and go deeply within us. So, the way that we've been given to help you make that journey, to discover that in yourself, is to join with you in a consecration to make that inner journey and to turn that over to the part of you, your true eternal divine self, that knows exactly how to get you there.
That's the amazing thing because usually as humans we think, well, how do I get from where I am and all my pain and suffering and all the issues in my life to that place where I'm experiencing things like peace and joy and all those qualities that we've heard about, we've read about, we see other people experiencing them, but we don't know how to get there from here.
If we knew how to get there, we'd already be there. That's obvious, right? And what we find out that really, in a way, we're standing in our own way. It's the part of us that's trying to get there is also the part of us that's unconsciously resisting it. And so the process we use is to simply acknowledge that we don't know how to get there and we can't get there on our own, but there is a part of us that does. Call it God, true self, higher power, whatever it is, but it's the real us that is already where we want to be. And it knows us intimately and knows exactly how to bring us home. And so our whole work is based upon acknowledging that and turning the process over to God, your higher self, or whatever you want to call it, and letting it guide the journey home. And then we simply drop into the space of communion with that. What Karen and I do is simply go within, connect with that limitless, luminous, intelligent presence that knows exactly what the journey is. That's the same presence that exists in you and all beings. And then through resonance, it begins to awaken and light that up within you, and it begins to shine forth, take over, and guide that journey within.
Yeah, it's really like a magical mystery tour because we never know what's going to happen in a session. We have no idea how your awakening is supposed to unfold because how could we? We're just human beings like you. We have a deeper and vaster connection with our true self because of all the years that we've spent focusing on that. And that has been the major focus of our lives for a lot of years. And so we bring that to every session that we do with somebody. And when we join together with you, we basically turn everything over to the mystery. And we call to the higher beings that are helping you through your life and that are helping us do what we do. And we turn everything over to them. And so what usually happens in a session could be divided into three major components. There's the stuff in the mind, the things that we all have that take the form of concepts, ideas, beliefs about how we should be, how my awakening should be unfolding, how those other people should be in my life. There are all the judgments, there are all the concepts, there are all the everything that's going on in the mind. And every bit of that can be met, can be faced and embraced. We can hear it out, and then we can turn it over to the part of ourselves that knows. Because every bit of that stuff that is in every brain is in the way of getting in touch with our divine wisdom. The things that our divine self is trying to bring through to us to help us through our journey. So that's one major component of the things people encounter in their sessions with us, and the things we've encountered every step of the way in our own journey of awakening. Another level of what comes forward is all the stuff in our emotions. Our emotional body might be full of pain and suffering, might have a lot of trauma from the past. It might have a lot of unfinished emotional business like sadness or grief or anger or rage or powerlessness or hopelessness, all the different things that we go through in our emotions. And every one of those is really something that is blocking our awareness that we are love, that we are that peace that we all want, that we all wish we could experience more often. And so as we are able to meet those emotions, to be with them, to fully feel them, and turn them over to something larger, they give way, and more of the love that is our true nature comes forward, and more of the peace, more of all the other divine qualities. The third thing that often happens in sessions is that we get in touch with the places in the physical body and in our energy bodies that are containing distortion or blockages or stuckness, places where we've shut down to the free flow of life energy. Because when we're fully alive, when we're fully in the luminous self that we have unlimited energy. We have plenty of energy for everything that we want to experience in this life. And we feel it flowing through our body very naturally. So as we are able to meet what is there in the physical body, and we teach you how to do this in every session. We are with you as you learn this capacity for being with your own stuff. Then those stuck places open up and people feel energy freely flowing within them. And so as as all of this takes place, as we are willing to completely be with whatever is happening inside of us, then as that stuff releases, we are able to more fully experience the love, the light, the joy, the stillness, the wisdom and clarity that live inside of us.
What veils our true nature is the things that Karen just mentioned. The reason we're not experiencing them to begin with is that we have all these layers of not self. Again, the emotions, the limiting thoughts, beliefs, the woundings we've had as a child, all that's in the way. And the divine in you knows exactly the path through that stuff back home. It's like a master psychologist, the ultimate guru, all wrapped in one. It knows exactly how to get you through it. And I think that's what's really unique about this way. You know, all paths are really ways to get you down that journey. You know, people do mantras, certain practices, whatever. But what better path is there than one that's guided and led by this infinitely loving, intelligent beingness that you really are, that knows everything about you and knows exactly how to bring you home? There is no better guru to do that than what you already have. That's all we do together. We get together, we invoke and activate that to take over the process, and off we go on this magic journey that eventually takes you through all these layers of stuff, recovering all these hidden, buried parts of ourself that have been sequestered away so that we have them back, but they're divinized, they're brought into communion with our true self. And that's what then begins to radiate out. What's in us is what is reflected back to us out there in our life. The outer world is a holographic projection of what's within us. So as we uncover our true nature, that's what happens around us. We are met with more love, more peace, more joy in our inner and outer experience.
And we begin to see the role that all of our challenges and traumatic experiences have played and are playing in our awakening process. We begin to see that they were not mistakes. They were not something like a punishment that God inflicted on us. They were not something that is aside from the journey. They are the journey. And when we can meet them fully and be with them and open to the gifts that actually hide inside of them, then the magic of the divine takes over.
And ultimately, it will lead us progressively through all those layers, revealing more and more of our true nature, which we realize sequentially, step by step. But ultimately, there comes this moment where the veils part and what we experience is really undescribable. It has to be experienced. But we experience that the presence of God, one, all that is within us as who and what we are. This radiant, luminous, numinous, blissful, ecstatic, infinitely loving, wise presence beingness is what's really there. It's what is really who we are.
There is nothing more life-changing than that. That's what we're all looking for out there. That's what we're all hoping to find and afraid that we'll never find. And that's as good as it gets for us.
So that's a little overview of what this work is about, how it works, and what it takes one through and to what end. And if that resonates for you, if it feels like it's something that might be the next step for you, please contact us. We can discuss how this would apply to your journey in particular. Or you may know that you're just ready to begin. If so, just contact us and we'll set up a time to do a session and begin the journey.
And we look forward to that.
Thank you.
Love and blessings.
And blessings too.
Namaste.